Commander Do-1 stood at the main window of his command ship, watching the red planet Mars grow smaller behind them. His dark uniform fit perfectly, showing his high rank in the Stellar Alliance fleet. He had won many battles before, but Earth would be his biggest prize yet. "Commander, all 300 ships are in perfect formation," said his bridge officer. "We will reach Earth's orbit in 6 hours." Do-1 smiled. He had studied Earth for months. The humans still used basic rockets to reach their own moon. They fought each other over small pieces of land. Their weapons were simple, just metal and explosives. Taking over their planet would be easy. "Send out the scout ships," he ordered. "I want detailed scans of their defenses." The scout ships flew ahead of the main fleet. They were small and fast, with the best scanning equipment in the Alliance. Do-1 watched their progress on the big screen in front of him. Earth grew larger, a blue and green ball wrapped in white clouds. "Sir," called out Hei-Yun, his science officer. Her voice sounded worried. "The scout ships are picking up strange energy readings around Earth." Do-1 walked to her station. The screen showed waves of unknown energy surrounding the planet. He had never seen anything like it in his 20 years of space combat. "What kind of energy is it?" he asked. "I don't know, sir," Hei-Yun answered. She moved her fingers quickly over her screen. "It's not in any of our databases. It's not solar energy, not magnetic fields, not anything we know." Do-1 frowned. This was not in his plans. Earth was supposed to be primitive, simple, an easy target. "More scans," he ordered. "I want to know everything about these energy readings." The main fleet slowed down. More scout ships flew ahead. Every scanner and sensor in the fleet pointed at Earth. Do-1 watched as new data filled the screens. The energy readings got stranger. They formed a perfect sphere around Earth, reaching far out into space. They didn't look natural. Someone had made them. But how could humans have this technology? "Sir," Hei-Yun said quietly, "these energy levels, they're higher than anything we've ever measured, higher than our strongest weapons." Do-1's hands gripped the rail in front of him. This was impossible. Humans were primitive. They couldn't have this kind of technology. Someone else must have put it there. "Send a message to the fleet," he ordered. "All ships prepare for combat. We will test this energy field." As he gave the order, one of the scout ships flew too close to Earth. Suddenly, its engines shut down. The small ship drifted in space, all its power gone. "Scout Ship 17 has lost all power," someone shouted. No response to our calls. Do-1 watched the dead ship float in space. The energy field hadn't destroyed it. It had just turned it off, like switching off a light. He looked at Earth again. The simple, primitive planet didn't look so simple anymore. Behind those waves of strange energy, something waited. Something powerful. "Commander," Hei-Yun said, "should we proceed?" Do-1 stood straight. He had not come this far to turn back. He had the largest fleet in the Alliance. He had the best weapons, the best soldiers, the best ships. "Yes," he said, "we proceed. Whatever this energy field is, we will break through it. Earth will be ours." But as he looked at the mysterious blue planet, a small doubt crept into his mind. For the first time in his life, Commander Do-1 wondered if perhaps he had made a mistake. The fleet moved forward, towards Earth and its strange defense. The greatest battle of Do-1's life was about to begin. And somehow, he knew it would not be the easy victory he had planned. The first attack was simple. Commander Do-1 ordered 5 ships to fire their weakest weapons at the energy field. The shots moved fast through space, bright beams of light heading straight for Earth. Then something strange happened. The beams hit the invisible barrier and just stopped. They didn't bounce back. They didn't explode. They disappeared as if they had never existed. "Impossible," Do-1 whispered. He had never seen weapons just vanish before. Hei-Yun worked quickly at her science station. Screens filled with numbers and charts as she studied what had happened. Her eyes grew wide as she read the results. "Sir," she said, "the barrier didn't just stop our weapons. It absorbed them. All that energy. It took it in like a sponge takes in water." Do-Won walked to her station. The readings didn't make sense to him. In all his years of fighting, he had seen shields that could block attacks, but nothing could absorb energy like this. "Try the plasma cannons," he ordered. "Full power." 20 ships moved forward. Their biggest guns pointed at Earth. When they fired, the space lit up like a new sun. The plasma beams were hot enough to melt mountains. Again, the barrier swallowed the attack without any trouble. But this time, Hae-Yun's machines picked up something new. "Commander, the barrier is getting stronger." She pointed to her screen. "It's using our own energy to power itself. Every attack makes it stronger." Do-Won hit his fist on the rail. This was not how battles were supposed to work. Shields were supposed to get weaker when hit, not stronger. "Send in the destroyer ships," he said. "I want that barrier broken." The destroyer ships were the biggest in the fleet. Each one was as long as a city. Their weapons could crack planets. Slowly, 5 destroyers moved into position. Hae-Yun stood up. "Sir, I don't think this is wise. If the barrier absorbs this much energy—" "Fire!" Do-Won shouted, cutting her off. The destroyers fired everything they had. The attack was so bright that the ship's windows had to darken to protect everyone's eyes. For a full minute, the destroyers poured their power into the barrier. When they finally stopped, nothing had changed. The barrier still stood, invisible but stronger than ever. "Sir," Hae-Yun said softly, "I'm detecting energy movement inside the barrier. It's changing somehow." Do-Won watched his screen. The energy readings from Earth were different now. The barrier wasn't just sitting there anymore. It was moving, shifting, like something waking up. "All ships, pull back," he ordered. But before the fleet could move, a pulse of energy shot out from the barrier. It wasn't a weapon. It didn't damage anything. But every ship it touched lost power for 10 seconds. 10 seconds where they couldn't move, couldn't fight, couldn't even talk to each other. When the power came back, the fleet was in chaos. Ships had drifted out of formation. Some had bumped into each other. Everyone was scared. Hae-Yun worked faster than ever at her station. "Commander, this technology, it's beyond anything we know. The barrier isn't just defensive. It's intelligent. It learns. It adapts." Do-Won stared at Earth. The simple planet that was supposed to be an easy target now looked like the most dangerous thing he had ever seen. "Get me everything we know about Earth's history," he ordered. "Every scan, every report, everything. There must be a reason they have this technology. Find it." As Hae-Yun began her search, Do-Won didn't move from his spot. He watched Earth spin slowly in space, protected by its impossible shield. Somewhere down there, someone knew how to build technology that made the Alliance's best weapons look like toys. And for the first time in his life, Commander Do-Won felt truly afraid. Deep under the mountains of Korea, Director Tae-Yang walked through a huge room filled with bright screens and busy workers. This was humanity's biggest secret, the Earth Defense Center. For 30 years, they had watched the skies and waited. Now the aliens had finally come. "Status report," Tae-Yang said, stopping at the main control station. Jai-Ho, a young engineer with messy hair and bright eyes, looked up from his screens. "The shield is holding strong, sir. The alien weapons can't hurt it at all." Tae-Yang nodded. He looked at the biggest screen in the room, which showed all 300 alien ships. They were huge and black, like metal clouds in space. 30 years ago, when they found the ancient ruins under the ocean, no one believed aliens would really attack Earth. But the old messages in those ruins had warned them. They had been ready. "Sir," called Yuna, the head technician. "They're attacking with their biggest ships now." Everyone watched as 5 massive alien ships fired at Earth. The energy readings were bigger than anything they had seen before, but Tai Yang wasn't worried. "Jai-Ho," he said calmly, "show me the shield power levels." Jai-Ho pulled up a new screen. It showed the shield getting stronger as it absorbed the alien attack. "The ruins told us this would happen, sir. The shield uses their own power against them. The more they attack, the stronger we get." In another part of the room, Yuna worked with her team to study the alien ships. "Director, we're learning a lot about their technology. Every time they attack, our computers record everything about their weapons." Tai Yang walked to her station. On her screen, he could see detailed pictures of the alien ships and their weapons. "What have you learned?" "Their technology is very advanced," Yuna said, "but not as advanced as what we found in the ruins. They don't understand the kind of energy we're using. That's why they keep attacking. They don't know they're just making us stronger." Suddenly, Jai-Ho called out from his station. "Director, I found something new in the shield controls." Tai Yang walked quickly to Jai-Ho's screen. The young engineer pointed to a strange pattern in the energy readings. "Look at this. The shield isn't just absorbing their energy. It's changing it. I think we can use it to fight back." The room got very quiet. For 30 years, they had only used the shield to protect Earth. The idea of using it as a weapon was new and a little scary. "Show me," Tai Yang said. Jai-Ho's fingers moved fast over his controls. "See these patterns? If we adjust the shield here and here, we can send their energy back at them. We could shut down their ships." Yuna came over to look. "He's right, sir. The ruins didn't just give us a shield. They gave us a weapon too. We just didn't know it until someone attacked us." Tai Yang looked at the big screen again. The alien ships were still there, still trying to break through. They thought Earth was weak and helpless. They had no idea they were fighting against technology from a civilization far older and more advanced than their own. "Sir," Jai-Ho asked, "should we do it? Should we show them what the shield can really do?" Tai Yang thought about all the years they had spent learning from the ruins, preparing for this day. The aliens had come to conquer Earth, thinking they would find an easy target. Instead, they had found a planet protected by powers they couldn't understand. "Not yet," Tai Yang said. "Let them try one more time. Let them use all their strength against us." And then he smiled. "Then we'll show them why you should never underestimate Earth." In the control room deep under the mountains, humanity's defenders waited and watched. Above them, the alien fleet prepared for another attack, not knowing they were about to learn a very important lesson. Commander Du-Won was angry. For 6 hours, his fleet had attacked the barrier around Earth, and nothing had worked. Now he stood in the fleet's main meeting room with his top officers. "We will hit the barrier in one place," he said, pointing to a map of Earth. "All ships will fire at this single spot. Nothing can stand against that much power." He-Yun, the science officer, stepped forward. "Sir, I must object. Our ships are showing strange power problems after each attack. Look at these readings." She showed them a screen with many red warning signs. "Every time we fire at the barrier, our ships lose a little power. It's like something is eating our energy." "Nonsense." Du-Won hit the table with his fist. "You're just reading the machines wrong. Our ships are the best in the galaxy. Nothing can drain their power." Captain Minho, Du-Won's second in command, looked worried. "Maybe we should listen to He-Yun, sir. I've never seen readings like these before." But Du-Won wouldn't listen. He sent orders to all the ships. They would fire everything they had at one point in the barrier. He was sure it would break. He-Yun worked quickly at her station, checking more readings. What she saw scared her. "Sir, please. The barrier is doing something new. The energy patterns are changing." "Prepare to fire," Du-Won shouted, ignoring her warning. All ships, full power. 300 ships pointed their weapons at a single spot above Earth's North Pole. At Du-Won's command, they all fired at once. The attack was so bright that satellites on the other side of Earth took pictures of it. The force was strong enough to push some of the smaller ships backward. For 2 full minutes, the fleet poured all its power into one spot on the barrier. Hei-yun watched her screens in horror. The barrier was absorbing all of it, but this time, something was different. The energy wasn't spreading out like before. It was gathering in one place. "Commander," she shouted, "the barrier is concentrating our energy. It's going to." Before she could finish, a bright beam shot back from the barrier. It hit one of the destroyer ships. All its lights went out immediately. The huge ship began to drift in space, completely dead. "What happened?" Do-1 demanded. "Report." "Destroyer 5 has lost all power," someone said. "Nothing works, not even their backup systems." Then another beam shot out. Another ship went dark. Then another, and another. "Stop firing," Captain Minho shouted. "All ships, stop firing now." But it was too late. The barrier had collected too much energy. It kept shooting beams at the fleet, turning ships off like they were simple light bulbs. "This is impossible," Do-1 whispered, watching his mighty fleet drift helplessly in space. "How can they do this?" Hei-yun checked her readings again. "Sir, I found something in our old records. There are stories about a civilization that disappeared long ago. They had technology that could control energy in ways we can't understand. Technology just like this barrier." "Are you saying?" Minho looked at Earth with new eyes. "Are you saying these humans have that ancient technology?" "They must," Hei-yun said. "And they know how to use it better than we do." Do-1 stared at his fleet. 20 ships had lost power now. They floated in space, unable to move or fight. His perfect plan was falling apart. "Sir," Minho said quietly, "what are your orders?" Before Do-1 could answer, more beams shot out from the barrier. More ships went dark. The mighty alien fleet was being defeated, not by weapons or battles, but by something they couldn't even understand. And somewhere in the commander's mind, a terrible thought appeared. Perhaps attacking Earth had been the biggest mistake of his life. In the underground base, Jai-ho and Yuna worked fast at their computers. They had just discovered something amazing about the shield's powers, and they couldn't wait to tell Director Tae-yang. "Director," Jai-ho called out, "come look at this." Tae-yang walked over to their station. On the screen, he saw new patterns in the shield's energy that he had never seen before. "We found out why the shield absorbs their attacks," Yuna explained. "It's not just protecting us. It's storing the energy like a battery. And now we can use that energy to fight back." Jai-ho pointed to another screen. "See these controls? The ancient ruins left us instructions for everything. We just hadn't seen this part until now, because no one had ever attacked us before." Tae-yang looked carefully at the readings. "You're sure about this?" "Yes, sir," Yuma said. "We've checked everything 3 times. We can turn their own power against them. We can shut down their ships without hurting anyone." Tae-yang thought about this. The aliens had come to conquer Earth. They had fired their weapons again and again, but they had never guessed that each attack was just making Earth stronger. "Show me how it works," he said. Jai-ho typed quickly on his keyboard. "The shield catches their energy here." He pointed to one part of the screen. "Then it changes it here. And then," he pressed a button, "we can send it back like this." On the main screen, they watched as a beam of energy shot out from the shield. It hit one of the alien ships, and all its lights went out immediately. "Perfect hit," Yuna said. "Their ship is completely powered down. No damage, but they can't move or fight." More alien ships were firing at the shield now. They still hadn't learned their lesson. Each attack gave Earth more energy to use against them. "Sir," Jai-ho said, "we have enough stored energy to shut down at least 30 more ships. Should we do it?" Tae-yang nodded. "Do it. Show them what happens when they attack Earth." Jai-ho and Yuna worked together, firing beam after beam from the shield. Each shot found its target. Each time, Another alien ship lost power and began drifting in space. In another part of the room, other workers were studying the disabled ships. "Director," one called out, "we're learning all about their technology from these scans. Their ships are advanced, but they're not as advanced as what we found in the ruins." Tai Yang smiled. Humanity had been lucky to find those ruins 30 years ago. The ancient civilization had left them everything they needed to protect Earth. They had spent years learning how it all worked, preparing for this day. "Sir," Jiho suddenly called out, "I found something else in the controls, something big." Everyone gathered around his screen. Jiho showed them a new set of instructions from the ruins. The shield can do more than just shut down their ships. It can create distortions, like small gravity wells. We could push their whole fleet away from Earth. Yuma checked his work. "He's right, sir. We could force them to retreat without firing a single shot." Tai Yang looked at the big screen, where more and more alien ships were drifting powerless in space. The aliens had thought Earth would be an easy target. Instead, they had found a planet protected by technology they couldn't even understand. "Save that option," he said. "If they don't retreat on their own, we'll use it. But for now..." He watched as another alien ship lost power. "Let's show them exactly how big a mistake they made when they chose to attack Earth." Deep in the underground base, Earth's defenders continued their work. Above them, the mighty alien fleet was learning a hard lesson about judging planets by their appearance. And this lesson was only the beginning. Yun sat alone in the fleet's library room, surrounded by glowing screens. While Commander Du-1 worried about his powerless ships, she had been searching through every old record she could find. Now, at last, she found something important. "Computer," she said, "show me the file about the Lost Empire again." The screen lit up with ancient text and pictures. Yun read carefully. 10,000 years ago, a great civilization vanished from our galaxy. They built things we still cannot understand. Their most famous creation was the energy shield, which could turn any attack into power for itself. Her hands shook as she read more. The Lost Empire could control energy in ways that seemed like magic. They could turn stars into power sources. They could move planets. Then, one day, they disappeared. No one knows where they went. "What are you reading?" Yun jumped. Captain Minho had entered the room quietly. She showed him the screen. "Sir, I think I know why we can't beat Earth's shield," she said. "It's not their technology. They found it. They found the Lost Empire's weapons." Minho read the screen carefully. "Are you sure? The Lost Empire is just a story, a legend." "No, sir. Look at this." Yun pulled up pictures of the shield's energy patterns. "Our scanners show the same marks that the old records talk about, the same way of using energy. Earth must have found some of the Lost Empire's ruins. They learned how to use the old technology." Minho sat down heavily. "If you're right, we're not fighting humans. We're fighting the greatest technology ever created." "It gets worse," Yun said. She showed him more readings. "The shield isn't just defending Earth. It's learning. Every time we attack, it doesn't just get stronger, it gets smarter." Just then, Commander Du-1's voice came through the speakers. "All working ships, prepare for another attack. We will break this shield." Minho looked at Yun. He needs to know about this. The Lost Empire's technology was so powerful that what? Du-1 stood in the doorway. He walked into the library, looking angry. "What stories have you found to excuse our failure?" Yun stood up straight. "Sir, this is important. Earth has found and learned to use the Lost Empire's technology. That's why we can't beat their shield. That's why our ships are losing power. We're fighting against technology that's far more advanced than ours. The Lost Empire." Du-1 laughed. "Children's stories. This is what you waste your time on." "Sir, please look at the evidence," Minho said. "The energy patterns match. The way the shield works matches. Everything fits the old records." Do-Won looked at the screens. For a moment, something like fear showed in his eyes. Then his face got hard again. "This is even better," he said. "If Earth has this technology, we must take it. Think of what the Alliance could do with the Lost Empire's weapons. We won't just take Earth, we'll take their ancient weapons too." "Sir, you don't understand," Heian said. "The records say no one ever beat the Lost Empire's shields. No one. They were too powerful, too smart. And now Earth has them." But Do-Won wasn't listening anymore. He walked to the main screen and started planning another attack. Heian looked at Minho. They both knew the truth now. Earth wasn't just a planet with a strong shield. It was a planet protected by the greatest technology ever created. And they were about to make it very, very angry. "Send these records to my private screen," Minho whispered to Heian. "Keep searching. Find everything you can about the Lost Empire. We need to know what else these humans might have found in those ruins." As they worked, more ships lost power above Earth. The mighty alien fleet was failing, and somewhere on the blue planet below, the ancient technology of the Lost Empire was waking up, ready to show its true power. Captain Minho stood on the bridge of his ship, watching more vessels drift powerless in space. 40 ships had lost power now. The mighty fleet that had come to conquer Earth was falling apart. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "Commander Do-Won wants all remaining ships to prepare for another attack." Minho shook his head. "He's going to get us all killed. Or worse, stranded in space forever." On the main ship, Do-Won was planning his next move. He didn't see Heian walk onto the bridge, carrying new information from the old records. "Sir," she said, "I have to show you something important." Do-Won didn't look up. "Unless you found a way through that shield, I don't want to hear it." "Sir, please." Heian put her screen in front of him. "The Lost Empire didn't just disappear. They left warnings. They said their technology should never be used for war. They said it would always protect peace, never help conquest." Do-Won pushed the screen away. "Fairy tales. I don't have time for this." "Commander," one of the bridge officers called out, "3 more ships just lost power." Do-Won's face got red with anger. He hit the communication button. "All ships. Target these 3 points on the shield. Fire everything. I want that shield broken now." Minho's voice came through the speakers. "Sir, I must object. We're losing too many ships. We need to stop and think about this." "Are you questioning my orders, Captain?" Do-Won's voice was dangerous and quiet. "Yes, sir, I am." Minho stood straight on his bridge. "This mission is failing. We're fighting against technology we don't understand. Technology that belonged to the most advanced civilization in history. We need to stop." Many other captains joined in, agreeing with Minho. Their voices filled the communication channels. They all said the same thing. The attack wasn't working. They needed to stop. Meanwhile, on Earth, Jai-Ho and Yuna made another discovery in the ancient ruins instructions. Director, Jai-Ho called to Tai Yang. "We found weapons. Real weapons. The shield can do more than just stop their ships. It can. It can protect the whole solar system." Yuna finished. "We could push them so far away they'd never find Earth again." Tai Yang looked at their screens. The new controls were complicated but clear. The Lost Empire had left them everything they needed to defend not just Earth, but all the planets around it. Back in space, the argument between Do-Won and his officers got worse. "This is my fleet," Do-Won shouted. "You will obey my orders." "No, sir." Minho's voice was firm. "We won't help you destroy this fleet. Not for your pride. Not for anything." Heian stepped forward on the main bridge. "Commander, please listen. The Lost Empire's records say their shields were unbeatable. They say." "Enough." Do-Won pulled out his weapon and pointed it at Heian. "I am tired of hearing about your ancient stories. Earth is weak. Its people are primitive. This shield is nothing but a trick, and we will break it. The bridge got very quiet. Everyone stared at their commander. They saw what He-Yun and Min-Ho had feared. Do-Won had lost his mind to his anger and pride. Security teams. Min-Ho's voice came through the speakers. Commander Do-Won is no longer fit for command. Remove him from the bridge. This is mutiny, Do-Won shouted. No, sir, Min-Ho said quietly. This is survival. We're saving what's left of our fleet before your pride gets us all killed. As security officers moved onto the bridge, more energy beams shot out from Earth's shield. 5 more ships lost power. The fleet was dying, and everyone knew it. Everyone except Do-Won, who fought against the security team, still shouting orders to attack. But no one was listening anymore. They had all seen the truth. They had started a fight they could never win. Do-Won broke free from the security team. He ran to the ship's main control panel and started pressing buttons quickly. If you won't follow orders, he shouted, then I'll do it myself. I'll ram this ship right through their shield. He-Yun's eyes went wide. Sir, stop. The shield will destroy us. But Do-Won wasn't listening. He turned off the safety controls and pointed the huge command ship straight at Earth. The engines roared to full power. Security. Min-Ho's voice came through the speakers. Stop him now. The security team rushed forward, but they were too late. The massive ship was already moving, gaining speed as it headed toward Earth's shield. In the underground base, alarms started ringing. Ji-Ho looked at his screens in shock. Director, he called out, one of their biggest ships is on a collision course with the shield. Yuna checked the readings. They're going at full speed. They must know it's suicide. Tai Yang moved quickly to the main control station. Activate the new defense system. Now. Ji-Ho's fingers flew over the controls. The ancient technology responded instantly. Around Earth, the shield began to change. In space, He-Yun saw something strange on her screens. Sir, the shield. It's creating holes in space. She was right. Small black spots appeared in the space around Earth. They looked like tiny black holes, but they weren't destroying anything. Instead, they were pulling gently on all the ships, trying to push them away from Earth. Gravitational distortion fields, He-Yun whispered, just like in the Lost Empire's records. They're not weapons. They're like hands, pushing us away. On other ships, crews watched in amazement as their vessels started moving backward, pulled by gentle but impossible-to-fight forces. Even ships that still had power couldn't move forward. But Do-Won's ship was going too fast. It pushed through the first layer of distortion fields, still heading for the shield. All hands. Min-Ho's voice rang through every speaker. Abandon ship. Get to the escape pods now. In the chaos, He-Yun grabbed the computer with the Lost Empire's records. She wasn't going to lose this precious information. As she ran for the escape pods with other crew members, she heard Do-Won still shouting behind her. I'll show you, he screamed. I'll break through. Eel. A new kind of energy beam shot out from Earth's shield. This one was bigger than any before. When it hit the command ship, everything stopped. Not just the power this time, but all movement. The huge ship froze in space like a statue. What was that? Ji-Ho asked, staring at his readings in the underground base. The ruins called it a time bubble, Yuna said, reading from ancient text. It freezes everything inside it. Not forever, but long enough. From their escape pods, the crew of the command ship watched their massive vessel hanging frozen in space. Inside it, Do-Won was frozen too, stuck in his last moment of anger forever, or at least for a very long time. The gravitational fields kept working, gently pushing the fleet away from Earth. More and more ships lost power. Those that still had engines started turning around, not wanting to end up like their command ship. Director, Ji-Ho said quietly, we could destroy them all now. The shield has enough power. But Tai Yang shook his head. No, the Lost Empire left us this technology to protect, not to destroy. We've shown them we can't be conquered. That's enough. In space, Minho took command of the remaining fleet from his ship. He watched as the strange forces from Earth's shield pushed them further and further away. The command ship stayed frozen between Earth and the retreating fleet, a warning to anyone else who might think about attacking Earth. "Send out a message to all ships," Minho ordered. "We're retreating. And make sure everyone knows why. Earth is not what we thought. It's not primitive or weak. It's protected by powers we can't even understand." As the fleet retreated, Earth's defenders watched from their underground base. The first test of their ancient shield was over. Earth had won without destroying a single ship, just as the Lost Empire had planned when they left their technology behind. As the alien fleet retreated, Hei-Yun worked quickly in her escape pod's small computer room. She knew she had to do something before they left Earth's space completely. "Captain Minho," she called through the communication system. "I need to send a message to Earth." "A message?" Minho asked. "What kind of message?" "A peaceful one," Hei-Yun said. "They could have destroyed us, but they didn't. They showed mercy. We should answer with peace." Minho thought about this. The humans had proven they were far more advanced than anyone had guessed. Making peace with them would be wise. "Send your message," he said. In the underground base on Earth, Juho noticed something new on his screens. "Director," he called out, "we're receiving a transmission from one of their escape pods." Everyone gathered around as Hei-Yun's message played on their screens. She spoke clearly and simply. "People of Earth, we apologize for attacking your planet. We did not understand what we were facing. Now we know about the Lost Empire's technology that protects you. We would like to talk peace, to learn from you, to understand how you learned to use such amazing technology." Tai Yang looked at his team. "What do you think? Should we answer them?" Yuna nodded. "The ruins tell us the Lost Empire believed in sharing knowledge peacefully. Maybe that's why they left their technology here, not just to protect us, but to help us teach others. And we don't have to hide anymore," Jiho added. "They've seen what we can do. Now we can talk to them as equals." Tai Yang smiled and pressed the communication button. "Alien Fleet, this is Earth Defense Command. We accept your offer for peace talks. Your ships will be allowed to regain power once you reach the orbit of Mars." In her escape pod, Hei-Yun could hardly believe it when she heard Earth's response. She quickly sent another message. "Thank you. I have been studying the Lost Empire's records. There is so much we could learn from each other, so much history we could understand together." Over the next few hours, Earth's defenders and the alien fleet's survivors shared more messages. They agreed to meet on a space station that would be built between Earth and Mars. Both sides would come in peace, ready to learn from each other. "What about Commander Du-1?" someone asked, looking at the frozen command ship still floating in space. "The time bubble will wear off in about 1 year," Yunat explained. "By then, we'll have ships ready to rescue him, and maybe he'll have learned something from his time frozen in space." Captain Minho sent one final message before the fleet reached Mars. "We came to Earth thinking we were superior. We thought you were primitive because you didn't have big space fleets or powerful weapons. We were wrong. You had something much better, the wisdom to use great power wisely." In the underground base, Director Tai Yang looked at his team. "Well done, everyone. The shield worked perfectly. But more importantly, we used it the way the Lost Empire intended, to protect, not to destroy." "What happens now?" Jiho asked. "Now," Tai Yang said, "we do what Earth does best. We learn, we grow, and we teach others. The Lost Empire chose our planet to protect their technology. Today we prove they chose well." As the alien fleet finally reached Mars orbit, their ships began powering up again. They had come to Earth as conquerors. They were leaving as students, eager to learn from the planet they had once thought primitive. Back on Earth, Ta Yang looked at the ancient ruins texts one more time. There was still so much to learn, so many secrets to understand. But one thing was clear: Earth was no longer alone in the galaxy. And thanks to the Lost Empire's gift, they were ready to take their place among the stars. "Send a message to all Earth governments," he said. "It's time to tell everyone the truth. We are not primitive. We are not weak. We are the guardians of the Lost Empire's legacy. And we are ready to share it with the galaxy, not through force, but through wisdom and peace." High above Earth, the shield continued its quiet work, protecting the planet just as it had for 30 years. But now it was more than just a defense. It was a symbol of hope, a promise of peace, and a bridge between Earth and the stars.